Greetings, everybody. My name is Lauren Mantecon. I am from Mantecon Studio. If you don't know who I am a painter who has been working for about 30 years, and I am an educator and a mentor. I have been teaching for over 20 years. My approach is a little different. I'm interested in the spirit and the soul of each individual. I'm interested also in metaphysics, which comes out in my work of how to capture that in-between space, that liminal spaces between earth and spirit. This has been a lifelong study of mine with the metaphysics that is infused into the work I make. In my teaching practice, I like to call it sometimes the alchemy of mixed media. Alchemy being internal as well as external, how do materials kind of work with each other, not for the sake of materials in its own right, but what is it you're trying to say? What is it you want to convey to the world? So I offer mentorships. You can write in the comments, contact me if you want to do a private mentorship, which we can do through Zoom, where we set our own schedule and goals of what it is you want to achieve in your art practice. Sometimes you're just stuck and you need a little nudge, which brings me to this month's prompt. Every month, I put out a free prompt via my newsletter, which you can sign up for free, which you can find below as well in the chat. And I like to just kind of get you thinking outside the box. So this month, the theme is, what do we do when we're stuck? Now, we can become frozen, we can become stuck, we can be our own self-critic. And what I mean by that is, as a teacher and a mentor, I will often see someone working on a painting, and it gets to that place where you've got it all. You've got a composition that's working, the colors are working together, the shapes, but it's good enough. That's the word I use. Just good enough. And there's a few things we can do, which you can find in the full prompt that I'm going to give out this month by going to the newsletter, with 3 tips that I'm going to give. But I'm also going to say here to you all that when we get to that place of, oh my God, I don't know what to do next. You know what? It looks like a fine painting to me. But what distinguishes a good painting from a great painting? I mean, I make a lot of paintings. I fail many, many times. And I'm not saying here I make great paintings all the time because I'm able to give this advice. But when you start practicing and here's the key word, taking risks, then you're going to find that you're able to get to the next tier in your art practice. So you might have a painting that's good enough, and it's usually those next 3 bold moves that distinguish it from a generic painting to expressing your own voice. And the only way we get there is by practice, practice, practice. You know, there's this idea that in any creative pursuit or anything that you want to get really good and professional at, you got to put in your 10,000 hours. I kind of agree with that. I am not the kind of instructor or mentor that is going to tell you how to make a painting in 5 easy steps, especially abstract painting, which I'm mostly an abstract painter. I do dabble in representational when something starts coming in. And an example of this is I was starting an abstract painting, and a loon, Loon, a bird, started to emerge. Now, some abstract painters might go, oh my God, I'm an abstract painter, I can't do that. And they might start eliminating it right away. I stayed with it. And it became a finished painting, and it started informing the rest of my work. You know, a body of work, a theme that you might be working on. Now, that bird might not make it to the show that I might be in, But I ended up selling it last week to someone who was in my studio and really resonated to it. You never know who's going to resonate to the work you make. So when you stay with a certain, how do I say it? You're in a gallery and the gallery wants you to make this kind of work. That's the easiest way to become stuck, for sure. You are a creative. Your work is evolving just as you're hopefully evolving as a human being. And we need to remember this. And we also need to remember our failures are just temporary. And temporary to the point of, if you feel like you want to quit making art, then it might not be like the passion that sparked in you. Like when I first started writing, I thought, oh my God, I love to write, because it was new, it was fresh, the passion was there. And then with my work, my artwork, it started to feel a little stale. And that is because I wasn't changing. You got to change it up, at least a little bit. So, one thing that you can do just to kind of get you started is, let's say you're at a point in your painting and it feels a little stuck. You can get out some paper, and instead of making, because I like to say to my workshop participants, bust a move. Just get out and bust a move. Do anything. Well, I don't want to ruin this painting. Well, if it's really important, it will come back. I really, absolutely, I've seen it over and over with the years that I've done this, and it does. Or it might lead you to somewhere new. So whatever feeling you might have, and this is an important key, staying with an emotion, staying with a feeling. We're not robots. Get out some paper and think about that painting, and then get out the painting that you are feeling stuck on, look at it, and just go, like, maybe even take a few breaths in your instincts, not a self-sabotaging way, but what would I do that is a bold move on this painting? And then don't think about it too much after that. Just put in the intention. Our intentions speak to our subconscious mind, and it works itself slowly without us having to be in that left brain. Oh my God, what do I do next? Well, oh, I feel a little intimidated. You know, and when people become a little intimidated, that's another example of starting to freeze. It's so amazing. I see it all the time. People will be in front of a painting. They'll all of a sudden freeze. And it's if whatever you're working on in your own life, whatever limitations you have, whatever self-critical voice you have, it all shows up in front of a painting or a piece of paper or whatever you're working on. And we have to remember, it's just paint. So unless you're at the tail end of finishing a painting for a deadline tomorrow, or, you know, the next week, what do you have to lose? It's just paint. Effing up a painting, I often say, is a really good thing, because that is leading you, inching you along to whatever is next. So back to what I was saying, get out of a piece of paper next to the painting you're working on. And if you don't want to get your painting messed up, see what I said? Messed up, which could be a word that you're using in your head. Oh, if I do that, I will mess it up. As opposed to, if I do that, I am going to change it. And it's just going to give me some new information to work with, which is exactly what we want to get us out of freeze mode. Okay, so with that piece of paper, just go get some oil pastels, or pencils, and do the marks on that paper. Do it again and again and again till you grow really confident with what that mark is trying to say. You might find you make it more minimal by getting another piece of paper and tracking what was really important in this first one. Let me do it in the second one. Yeah, so risk is real. Fear is real. Pushing it away, like go away, go away, go away, doesn't do it. Just relax into it and do it anyway. Okay, everybody, I'm going to give you now a short little meditation, visualization for you all. I do this before I have a Wednesday open studio here in Santa Fe. If you're out there in Santa Fe, 1:30 to 4:30. I do it in all my workshops. I do it on my Dive Deep program before we dive on Zoom sessions. And if you need to take a break, go do that now. Come on back. I want you to get yourself into a comfortable position. And feet on the ground. Gently close your eyes. This visualization is for breaking barriers and limitations in your creative practice. We're going to take 3 deep breaths to begin right into our belly. The biggest breath you've taken all day. And then let it go. We're going to breathe in again. Breathe in through your nose. And then breathe out through your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. And then one more time. Breathing in clean, new, inspirational energy. And then breathing out through your mouth, releasing any stale energy. I now want you to imagine a grounding cord of your own making. It can be made out of string or chain at the base of your spine at your root chakra. And that grounding cord is moving through wherever you're sitting or laying down. It's moving through the floor. And it's anchoring itself all the way to the core of Mother Earth. I now want you to imagine in front of you a box. We're going to put any worries or any fears or any limitational beliefs you might have into the box. Make it sturdy in your mind's eye. A sturdy box. I'll give you a few moments to do that. Okay, anything left? Any worries of the day? Can you just make sure it's down in that box? And then imagine a tight lid, you're going to close that box. And then ever so gently, we're going to turn our back away from that box. And now with normal breathing in and out, imagine in front of yourself a white movie screen. It's blank. And in front of you pops an image or a shape. Something new, something exciting, something that you haven't done before. Use everything in your imagination to see this and visualize this. Now, like magic, add some color. Maybe a color you don't normally use. If nothing comes, no worries. Just feel it. Feel what it feels like to be making some marks or imagery that is of your highest potential. Just hold on to the feeling. And if you do see, hold on to that. See it in front of you. Now, if you were to make one bold mark, what color would you use? See yourself holding that color. Perhaps it's a paintbrush with the color, pastel, or oil pastel. And now, I want you to just, without thinking too much, make that mark or shape now. What did you do? Can you hold on to that feeling? And now we're going to jump to that left brain for just a moment. If you had to give it one word, what is it? What's the first word that comes to mind? Don't think it has to be love and light. It can be sublime. Okay. Good work. Holding on to that feeling of risk-taking. I want you to gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. And ever so gently open your eyes. Go ahead and take 4 things that you see in the room to anchor yourself into present time. If you have a pencil handy, you might jot down a few of the feelings, words for the imagery that came up for you. And then, if you're not signed up for my newsletter, I don't put out a lot of spam. I do a blog. I'm writing a book, and so the blog is a supplement to all that writing of what it means to be a creative and all the challenges we go through and all the wins as well. And you can get the full prompt, where I'm actually doing a little bit of video demoing. Not a lot, but a little bit. And I'll have my new workshops coming up for the year that I'll probably get out. I'm going to Egypt. I can't believe it. I leave on the middle of the month, and I'll be back by December, and then I'm putting out. I have a workshop at Ghost Ranch in northern New Mexico. I'll be teaching down in New Orleans, and then some workshops here. And I'm also going to do, this is new and different. You know, I'm a studier of esoteric philosophies, and I've been an astrologer since I was very young. And I want to work with the symbols of the planets and their meanings, and the symbols of the houses, when everyone has an astrological chart, with starting with the first house, which is Aries, ending with the 12th house, which is Pisces. Pisces is the fish, Aries is the ram. But I want to do something online, and you can write some comments down below if this is interesting to you, where I'll do a free webinar first, where people can submit their astrological data, just to give some examples of painting your astrological chart. And it's a way to mine your internal, how do I say it? Your internal spirit of what energies affect you and how to actually paint this. So, something I'm playing with. Let me know your interest. And with that, if you want to do a private mentorship with me, I offer that over Zoom. If you're in Santa Fe or you want to come to Santa Fe, you can paint with me from 2 to 5 days. I offer that privately in my studio. The mentorship, we set our own goals, your goals of what you want to achieve within 5 sessions with me. I offer a 20-minute chat to see if that is something that you might be interested in working with me. All right, everybody. Be well. See you soon.